Welcome, horror enthusiasts. Today we delve into Anterls, a haunting tale set in a small American town. With an IMDb rating of 6.3/10, this film promises a bone-chilling experience for horror fans, directed by Scott Cooper and produced by Guillermo del Toro. Anterls transports us to the eerie forests of Oregon, where ancient horrors collide with modern-day struggles in a gripping narrative. Let's unravel the dark mysteries lurking within. Step into the eerie world of Anterls, where the quiet town of Cispus Falls hides a chilling secret within its depths. Meet Frank Weaver, a man whose clandestine operations unfold in the darkness of an abandoned mine, while his young son, Aiden, innocently waits outside. But what lies beneath the surface is far more sinister than they could ever imagine. Join me as we unravel the mysteries of Anterls, where darkness reigns and terror lurks around every corner. In the depths of the abandoned mine, as Frank and his accomplice delve deeper into their illegal activities, they unwittingly awaken an unseen terror lurking in the darkness. Suddenly, a horrifying creature attacks with ferocity, unleashing chaos and terror upon them. Meanwhile, outside the mine, young Aiden hears the unsettling commotion and bravely ventures inside to uncover the source of the chilling noise. But as he enters the cavernous depths, he too becomes ensnared by the malevolent force, thrusting him into a nightmarish battle for survival. 3 weeks later, we find ourselves in the school setting, where Lucas Weaver, the son of Frank and elder brother of Aiden, grapples with inner turmoil amidst the classroom chaos. Julia, his teacher, observes Lucas's disengagement from his studies, noting his peculiar behavior and tendency to immerse himself in other activities. Despite Julia's efforts to connect with him, Lucas remains distant, preoccupied with mysterious tasks and erratic conduct. Adding to Lucas's challenges are the bullying antics of his peers, who target him with cruelty and harassment, struggling to find his place within the school community. Lucas wrestles with the weight of his troubles, unaware of the dark forces lurking within and around him. As tensions escalate within the school environment, Julia and Lucas find themselves entangled in a web of intrigue and fear, where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural blur. After school, Lucas goes to a secluded spot where he kills a small animal. He then brings the dead animal home and throws its body into a closed, dark room. Little does he know, this sinister act is just the beginning of the mysterious events that will unfold. Meanwhile, Lucas's teacher, Julia Meadows, finds herself grappling with her own inner demons. Haunted by memories of childhood abuse inflicted by her mentally ill alcoholic father, Julia struggles to cope with the recent suicide of her troubled parent. Returning to Cispus Falls to be with her brother Paul, the local sheriff, Julia is consumed by guilt for having left him behind in their tumultuous past. The next day at school, Julia asks Lucas to share a children's story. However, his tale takes an unexpected and mysterious turn, leading Julia to realize that he is facing problems and stress. After being bullied and injured by peers, Lucas is in pain. He is then taken to the school nurse for assistance after the nurses report to Julia about Lucas's weakened state and stress. It's evident that Lucas isn't eating properly after reviewing the school records. Julia attempts to contact Lucas's home, but her efforts are in vain as no one answers the phone at the end of the school day. Julia watches as Lucas leaves. Concerned for his well-being, she makes a decision to follow him and see what he does after school. While following Lucas, Julia observes him at an ice cream shop. Approaching him, she engages in a conversation about his well-being and family situation. As their conversation concludes, Lucas informs Julia that he's going home and requests that she doesn't follow him. As Lucas walks, he discovers a dead animal and starts collecting it. Meanwhile, Julia drives to his house to investigate why her calls went unanswered. Upon arrival, she finds the house looking old and deserted, adding to the mystery. As Julie approaches Lucas's home and attempts to enter, the door mysteriously opens on its own. Startled by a strange and heavy noise emanating from inside, Julia becomes frightened and retreats to her vehicle, hastily driving away. As Julia returns home, she sees the pieces of artwork drawn by Lucas, previously collected from the school dumpster. With urgency, she assembles them, revealing a mysterious image that leaves her intrigued and uneasy. The tension mounts as the audience is drawn into the unfolding mystery. After showing the art to her brother, Julia expresses her concern that Lucas may be in trouble and asks if he knows anything about Lucas's family. In response, her brother Paul advises her not to dwell on it, reminding her of her past struggles. He encourages her to focus on her own recovery before trying to help others. After Lucas prepares and brings the dead body to the closed room upstairs, we witness his father transforming into a strange creature resembling a demon. Lucas's brother Aiden is also present, seemingly unaffected for now. Lucas hands over the pieces of the dead animal's body to them, as his father had ordered him to keep the room locked. As Julia remembers her father's abuse, her mental state deteriorates, causing her stress to resurface. After confiding in her brother and urging him to help Lucas, she grapples with her own past trauma while trying to aid others. At school, Julia checks under Lucas's desk and finds books about demons along with his mysterious artwork. Concerned, she shows these findings to the principal, expressing her belief that Lucas is in trouble. She suggests they visit his home to understand his situation. Recalling a previous visit when no one was home, meanwhile, someone informs Paul about a dead body discovered during a hunting trip, prompting him to investigate. Concurrently, Lucas enters the closed room to feed his brother, only to witness his brother undergoing a transformation similar to their father's, with bleeding eyes and a strange cough. Meanwhile, as the dead body is discovered in the forest, the examining doctor informs Paul that the murder likely wasn't committed by an animal. The teeth marks resemble those of a human, suggesting human involvement in the crime. Amidst the problem, the principal visits Lucas's home while he's at school. She enters and cautiously approaches the closed room, finding Aiden sitting strangely. As she talks to him, Lucas's transformed father attacks and kills her, devouring her flesh. After consuming her, a strange demon-like creature emerges from his father's body and escapes. Meanwhile, Paul investigates the dead body and ventures into the mine. Inside, he discovers strange things hanging and comes across a part of a demon horn, adding to the mystery surrounding the situation. As Lucas walks through the forest, he encounters a bully from school who attempts to harass him. However, before the situation escalates, the demon creature with horns on its head arrives, killing the bully and carrying him away. When Lucas arrives home, he notices the principal's car in the garden. Upon entering the house, he discovers the principal's dead body. He closes the car and cleans the bloodstains in the house, waiting anxiously to see what unfolds. Meanwhile, he realizes that his father and brother are not at home. They have fled, breaking through a window. While Lucas is at home, the police arrive and conduct a search outside the house to determine what happened, but they do not enter the premises. After the disappearance of the deceased bully, whose mother files a complaint with Paul, Julia emphasizes to Paul the urgency of conducting a thorough investigation into Lucas's situation and the events surrounding him. Meanwhile, upon Julia's return to Lucas's home, she discovers the principal's car parked in the garden. The police arrive and find the bodies of the principal and Lucas's father. Lucas's father's body appears to have been penetrated or inhabited by something else, resembling a forced entry or escape. When Lucas returns home, Julia takes him to the hospital. Subsequently, Julia and Paul discuss how to address the situation and provide support for Lucas. While in the hospital, Lucas recalls the events of his father and brother's return home. His father's body appeared to be in poor health, exhibiting signs of illness. His father instructs Lucas to lock the door and not to open it under any circumstances while they are in the room together. After Paul and Julia visit Warren, a native person of the area, they show him Lucas' drawings. Warren identifies the figure as the Wendigo, a legendary Algonquin demon that manifests as a ravenous, cannibalistic deer-like monster capable of passing from person to person. He explains that the Wendigo can only be killed when it is weakest, while it is feeding, and by extinguishing its beating heart. Upon their return, Paul receives a call urging him to investigate another dead body. He arrives at the scene and recognizes the body as that of the bully who harassed Lucas. Paul remains unconvinced that the killings are the work of a mysterious creature. He continues his investigation into the dead bodies. Meanwhile, Julia brings Lucas to her home for safety. Paul, concerned for their well-being, sends his associate to guard Julia and Lucas. During their conversation, Lucas confides in Julia, stating his belief that his father and brother are still alive and will likely return, possibly posing a threat to Julia's safety. Meanwhile, upon hearing a heavy noise, Paul's associate investigates the shed located in the home garden. There, he discovers Lucas's brother, Aiden, inside. After Paul arrives, he rushes to the shed to investigate and discovers his associate dead inside. As he enters the shed, he sees Aiden, but before he can react, the creature attacks Paul, lifting him up and throwing him aside. After Paul leans against the wall, the creature attacks him again until he loses consciousness. Surprisingly, it doesn't kill him, leaving us to wonder about the reason behind its actions. We will uncover the reason for this in the future. After that moment, Julia went outside from home. While the creature brought Lucas and Aiden to the mine, she talked to Paul and was ready to go to the mine without him. However, at that moment already Paul insisted on accompanying her. After they went to the mine together to save Lucas and Aiden, Paul lost consciousness. Julia then went into the mine alone, where she found Lucas and Aiden hiding. She also witnessed the creature killing and eating a bear. After the creature spotted Julia and attacked her, she tried to fight back using a gun, iron wire, and various other weapons. After the fight, she found a fire torch and tried to intimidate the creature with it. Then, she grabbed an iron rod and struck the creature with it. She continued to fight until the creature became paralyzed. When the creature was paralyzed, Lucas approached from behind and stabbed it with a knife, further immobilizing it. Finally, Julia hastily removed the creature's heart from its body. After removing the creature's heart, Julia witnessed Aiden shouting strangely and horrifically, indicating that the creature's soul had transferred into Aiden's body. The creature's soul became active and began to work within Aiden's body. After Julia prepared to remove Aiden's heart with a knife to prevent him from turning into the same type of creature, Lucas stopped her, preventing her from doing so. Julia then explained the situation to Lucas. Afterward, she destroyed the creature's soul from Aiden's body. Sometime later, Paul and Julia discuss keeping Lucas with them for a while, despite concerns he may become possessed as well. As Julia and Lucas leave, Paul begins to cough up a black bile, as Frank did when he was first possessed by the demon. Today we delved into the eerie world of the horror film Anterls as the credits roll and the echoes of fear linger. Let's part ways for now. Stay vigilant, dear viewers, as we anticipate our next cinematic adventure together. Until then, remember, while the shadows may dissipate, the allure of the enigmatic beckons. Farewell, until we meet again.